students, today we will start with the concept of return and risk. जैसा कि हम अपने previous videos में भी discuss कर चुके हैं that while making investment, it is the foremost objective of the investor to maximize the return. लेकिन हमने ये भी पढ़ा कि return is not alone; it comes with certain degree of risk. So both the concepts move simultaneously. So for this topic, we will study what are the concepts of return and risk, how these are created and how these are measured. जब हम ये concept पढ़ेंगे तो of course individual security के लिए भी पढ़ेंगे और portfolio के context में भी इसको हम पढ़ेंगे. So to begin with, first we will take the concept of return. Return basically means the reward or the income from any investment. It may be in the form of, जैसा कि हमने previous lectures में भी discuss किया है, it may be in the form of expected return or the actual or realized return. Expected return is the return which investor expects from the security, that how much return it will generate in future. Whereas actual return is the actual amount realized from the investment in the form of return. So it may be the expected return or it may be the actual or realized return. साथ ही साथ जैसे कि हमने अपने previous videos में discuss किया था that it may be in the form of recurring income or it may be in the form of capital appreciation. That is, जो रिटर्न है ये रेकरिंग इनकम की फॉर्म में भी हो सकता है, यानी कि एक पर्टिकुलर इंटरवल के बाद हमें मिलता है, जैसे कि डिविडेंड है, जैसे कि इंटरेस्ट है, या इट मे बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ कैपिटल एप्रिसिएशन. That is, value of the principal amount of investment increases over a particular period of a time. So a security may generate either the return in the form of recurring income or capital appreciation or both. So this is the concept of return basically, which shows the reward or the income from a particular security. Now the question arises, how this return is measured? Again for this, we will refer to the formula which we have discussed in the previous video also, that is, the formula for calculation of return is maturity value minus value at which investment is made plus dividend divided by value at which investment is made. This portion from this formula is also referred to as capital appreciation, क्योंकि capital appreciation को शो करता है कि हमारे principal value में कितना change आया है. तो इस portion को we can also write as capital appreciation plus dividend divided by value at which investment is made. जैसा कि आपको ध्यान होगा, हमने प्रीवियस एक एग्जांपल भी किया था कि लेटर से एक सिक्योरिटी जो कि 100 रुपीस में परचेज की गई है एंड आफ्टर 1 ईयर इसका मार्केट वैल्यू मैच्योरिटी वैल्यू 110 रुपीस है, जबकि इससे मिलने वाला डिविडेंड 5 रुपीस है. तो इसकी वैल्यू को हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? पुटिंग दी वैल्यूज इन द फॉर्मूला दैट 110 हमें एंड में मिल रहा है, 100 रुपीस का इन्वेस्टमेंट किया था और 5 रुपीस का हमें इसमें डिविडेंड मिल रहा है डिवाइडेड बाय दिस. So it is 15%. This is how the return on a security for a particular time is calculated. Next we will discuss how the return is calculated for a particular security over a period of time. So students, while calculating the return over a period of time, we calculate the average return for that period. This can be made understand with the help of this example. In this example, we have taken a security in which initial investment made is of rupees 100 and investment is made for 5 years. For this, we will calculate the average return from the security. Given in the question is the average market price, which includes these values, and we have the dividend declared per security over these time periods. So in order to calculate the return from the security, the value of return will be calculated as 120 minus 112 plus dividend 9 divided by initial value, that is in this case is now 112. So the return will come out to be 15.18%. Similarly, for the third year, the maturity value now changes to 130. Value in the beginning becomes the 120. So return will be calculated as 130 minus 120 plus 10 divided by 120. So every year value at the beginning is changing because the value which was the maturity value for the previous year is now the value at the beginning. So after doing the calculations in this way, we get the total return in the form of 36.75%. And in order to calculate the average return for the 5 years, we will have to take total return divided by number of years. Total return includes this value, that is 36.75%, and number of years are 5. So this value will be divided by 5 and we will get average return as 7.35%. So this is the way we can calculate the value of return over a period of time. After calculating the value of return over a period of time, in certain cases the probability of return is given. When probability is given, return calculated with the help of probability gives us the expected return. So expected return is calculated is equal to probability for a given period multiplied by the return. So in our previous example, as we have calculated the value of return, let us say probability is given for 3 years as 15, 20 and 30. We will calculate the return as the value of return for a particular period multiplied by the probability for that period. So we will get these values and total of these values will give us expected return, that is like this. So for getting the expected return, we have multiplied the value of return with the probability and then made total of these values. So by this way, we can calculate the expected return also. So under the concept of return, we have understood what the concept of return is, how it is calculated for a security for a particular period over a time period